hard.
No, Dewey Cox. I mean, come on. And how can you get anything better? That is true American music. I mean, absolutely. I remember I was like, I don't know, maybe 6. My dad and I were driving up to Lake Erie. And Pop's, looking through his, his CDs, his albums to put in the car. And not his CDs, but his tapes. And I was looking through them too, and I find Dewey Cox. And I asked him, what's this? And he looked at me, and, he kind of knew that it was about the time in my life that I should start listening to this. So he puts it in. Oh my God, we have Walk Hard, of course. But the one that really got me was, Let's Duet with, Dewey and his wife Darlene. I mean, how can you get better than possibly two of the greatest vocalists of the age? Not the greatest vocalists, the greatest musicians, the greatest composers of the age. I mean, they defined American folk music. It was my parents' wedding song. And I always thought, but how that music has transcended through so many generations. And, I owe it all, I really do, to Dewey Cox. Dewey Cox, was integrated into my life at a very young age. He was everywhere. Holidays. I mean, he came out with that Christmas album, brilliant Christmas album. I mean, just what a great idea to bring the family together like that once again at Christmas time. The album cover was by far the best part. It had a picture of him unwrapping a gift, and a gift was a picture of himself. What a metaphor for today's culture, for today's screwed up world and view of Christmas. If we would just listen to the Cox, man, then all of it would be fine. We need to unwrap ourselves from this crazy corporate world. But that's another place, another time, another story. Anyway, so every Christmas, he was always playing, always that album, and my dad, God rest his soul, he would dress up in a Santa suit with a cowboy hat on, and he would go under the tree and find this present and go, what's this? And he'd unwrap it, and it would be a picture of Dewey Cox, and he would pose with it, like it was the album cover, and it was so cool. I mean, that is a tradition we established a long time ago, and you know what? They still do it now. That is a tradition that I can build off of, something that I can do with my grandkids, my great-grandchildren. We have pictures and pictures of Dewey everywhere, and I hope that for the rest of my life I have pictures of Cox everywhere around my house.
Look, I know I've had my trouble with drugs in the past, but I'm addicted to coke, weed, booze, lewds, and speed, not LSD. Nobody gets addicted to LSD.
An artist's life, any artist or performer, their life is chaos. Their life is turmoil, and so are their careers. They have ups and downs, like the rest of us. It's all right. Someone can have a bad day, or a week, or a month, or a decade, or whatever. It doesn't matter. Dewey Cox was a genius. From the time he was born. In fact, depending on where you believe life begins, I think he was a genius in the womb. But that's neither here nor there. He was a genius from the day he was born to the day he died. Except for Black Sheep. But Black Sheep, that was something else. I found out that the animal in it was actually a goat. It was not a sheep. That's what I thought the title was about. I thought maybe it was a black sheep in the song. So it was not what I thought. I remember listening to it with my dad. Halfway through it, which was about, I think, like 45 minutes, I started crying. I didn't understand what was going on. Neither did my dad. He even started shedding a tear. I was 11 at the time. That's when he finally decided to let me listen to Black Sheep. And after the song was over, about 3 hours later, we sat on our front porch, the old Victrola. And we felt like we had been through so much together. In fact, 10 minutes later, he gave me the talk, and then we shared our first beer, and then I got a car. That was the amount of maturity that Dewey Cox put you through. And the amount of crap you had to face with Black Sheep, because that sucked.
You and your dad actually went to a Dewey Cox concert on his tour at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
07.
Last year, and little did you know that he only had a few months left. What was that like for you?